you're having a great Thursday. What is up, guys, and welcome to the FPL Today preview video for Game Week 34. In this series, we go over the topics you think need covering, as well as going over my watch list, which is players I'm looking at that aren't currently in my team, all with the goal of helping you with your FPL game and your FPL rank. So if you enjoyed the FPL preview, please do hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for FPL, and go and follow me on Twitter to make sure you can get your questions in for next week's Game Week preview. Also, a quick big thank you to you guys for really backing the team selection video. It's done better than a lot of my videos have done recently, and it was great to see on a video that was sponsored, so really appreciate your guys' support there. But let's stop chit-chatting and let's get on to this week's preview. So we start off with the watch list, and this is where we go over players that I don't currently own that I am looking at to bring in as potential transfers. Now, this does include a lot of players because this is our short list or watch list of players that we're considering to bring into our side, and it is not going to include players that I already own, even though they could be great options, like, for instance, Iheanacho. So we start off with the defence. We're starting off with Castan being the player that has come into this watch list and is a player I'm really interested in. At 5.8 million, he has looked very impressive recently in a Leicester side that, of course, are fighting for a Champions League place. He's managed 1 goal and 1 assist in the last 6, with 1 big chance on goal and also 2 big chances created, really showing why he should be on not just my watch list, but also yours. We're also looking at Azpilicueta at 5.9 million at Chelsea. Now, you could consider Chilwell and Alonso, and I do already have Rudiger, but Chelsea's performance against Real Madrid really opened my eyes, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Thomas Tuchel can do at Chelsea, and I think wing-backs could be a big part of the way that they play in the future. We do also have Arsenal players coming in. Tierney is apparently back to fitness and could feature for the rest of this season at 5.2 million. He would be my preferred player into that Arsenal defence. Not that I'm that confident in Arsenal's capability of keeping clean sheets. And also Digne has come in because Everton do, of course, have the potential of a double game week, and he is probably the best option from their defence, although Holgate is also under consideration. And if we look at Leicester, Fofana is also under consideration for that defence as well. We move on to the midfield, and we have Sigurdsson coming in hot at 6.9 million because of his recent performances. He looks like a very good option in an Everton side that again will have that double game week. Although, to be honest, I'd prefer it if they had something to fight for, then I'd be really behind this pick. He has managed 2 goals and no assists in the last 6 game weeks, but has had 9 shots on goal, 2 of them being big chances, and has created 1 big chance in the Everton side, and he does seem to be getting the minutes currently. James Rodriguez is also someone you could consider. Also joining Mount from Chelsea is Pulisic. He looked incredible against Real Madrid, and as long as he doesn't get injured, he has generally had a good end to the season last year in FPL, and maybe he could do the same this year. Harrison also joins the watch list because he is a player that, with Rafinha out, could be a good way into that Leeds midfield. He has managed 3 big chances in the last 6 game weeks and also created 2 big chances, getting 3 assists and 1 goal in that Leeds midfield. And Matthias Pereira has also looked incredible. West Brom probably going to get relegated, but Pereira could be playing for a move away from West Brom. He has managed 4 goals and 2 assists in the last 6 game weeks and is a player that I am considering. Then up front we have Watkins joining the watch list at 6.6 million. I don't know how I haven't owned this guy. Well, I do. It's because I had Grealish, Martinez, and often the other backup keeper at Aston Villa, so that is why I already had my quota of 3 Aston Villa players taken. But Watkins has been incredibly consistent, often popping up with points when it is really important for other people's sides, just not mine. Calvert-Lewin also joins Richarlison on the watch list because of the potential double game week, and the reason I'm so keen on Everton is the likelihood of them having no blank after the double game week. Although there is the possibility, of course, that the guesses that experts like Ben Crillin have made may not come into fruition, and potentially the double game weeks and blank game weeks are different than we're expecting. But I'm definitely keeping these players on my watch list just in case I need to bring them in. For those wondering, the players out of the watch list in defence, Nat Phillips, Connor Cody and Roman Saiss have all dropped out of the watch list. Phillips with an injury and Wolves defence not looking that great. In midfield, Rafinha with his injury and James Maddison have dropped out the watch list. I'm not too sold on James Maddison at the moment. That could of course change, but with the possibility of a blank as well coming up, I'm not too keen on James Maddison, having Iheanacho already. And the forwards, Nketiah has dropped out at 5.3 million, and Edison Cavani doesn't seem to be getting enough starts for me to really consider him. We now move on to the topics that you guys requested over on Twitter. If you want to request topics, make sure to follow me at JNO_FPL on Twitter. And the first topic is covering Bruno Fernandes and Man United coverage. And its question is from Nuclear Atoms, and he asks, are Man United assets worth holding on to or bringing in? Now, to be honest, Man United do potentially have the double game week coming up, which is why I'm potentially going to be holding on to Bruno Fernandes, but I can see why people are potentially getting itchy feet around him. A lot of you also ask questions about Bruno Fernandes specifically, and to be honest, with 2.25 expected goals and 1.57 expected assists, he hasn't really been performing that greatly. Unfortunately, he's the type of player that doesn't always get the best opportunities on goal, and the penalties seem to have dried up, and potentially the likes of Mason Greenwood, who's also on the graphic, are better options. Greenwood does outdo Bruno Fernandes on XG, getting 2.99, and expected assists at 1.97, and he's been converting those chances and getting more points than Fernandes, and his expected goal involvement is 11% higher. You've also got the likes of Luke Shaw at 5.4 million. He doesn't have the greatest attacking stats, but we know he can get assists and even goals at the right time. And with Liverpool in the next fixture, I can understand why you wouldn't bring him in this game week, but after that, Aston Villa, Leicester, Fulham and Wolves with a potential double game week. I think potentially it's worth holding just for that double game week and potentially bringing in the likes of Greenwood, who does seem on good form. That being said, there's plenty of other options we could be considering, but for now, for me, it's either get in Greenwood, or if you have another Man United player, maybe hold just to see what happens with the double game weeks. The next question comes in from FPL DJ, that's Dom J, and he asks, should I keep Wood or Vardy for the next two? Keeping Vardy would also mean losing Bruno for Bowen or Rafinha. Now, I don't suggest Rafinha because potentially he is out for a little bit longer, but Bowen has definitely looked impressive. However, if we look at Vardy and Wood, you can see that both of them have been performing very well. You've got 2.97 expected goals for Jamie Vardy and expected assists at 2.51 with an XGI of 54%. Now, Iheanacho has been outperforming him recently, so if you have Iheanacho, maybe you could get away with getting rid of Jamie Vardy, but double game week coming up and Southampton and Newcastle in the next two, potentially Vardy could do very well in both of those fixtures, so it could be worth keeping. I personally would probably keep Vardy, especially if I didn't have Iheanacho. And of course, Chris Wood has done incredibly in the last game week and has expected goals at 3.76 and expected assists at 1.29 with expected goal involvement as high as 66%. Now, Wood had good underlying numbers before his big haul in Game Week 33, so I do think potentially for the rest of this season he could keep these numbers up. Maybe not getting hat-tricks in the first half of a game again, but he could still be chipping in with the goals, so I personally wouldn't get rid of either right now, and I think they're two of the best options you can have up front at the moment, alongside potentially Harry Kane and Iheanacho. And then finally, we are just going to quickly talk about Double Game Week 35 and will it actually happen? We are currently waiting for the Premier League to announce when blank and double game weeks are going to come to accommodate the FA Cup. And also there are some fixtures that were postponed that need to be put back into the calendar. Now these double game weeks could include the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Leicester, Aston Villa, Everton, Southampton and Crystal Palace. So any players you have from these teams might be worth keeping hold of. However, I'm going to keep hold of my transfer until Friday to see, hopefully, if they announce it. And if they don't, I'll probably be holding my transfer for next game week when I assume they have to announce what they're doing with the doubles and blanks by the time we've reached game week 35. I just thought I'd show this graphic again so you guys have a good idea of what could be happening. Those are the fixtures in white that could be added to game weeks. And underneath is the fixture that currently already is taking place in game week 35. So hopefully this graphic helps you make the right decision, maybe hold on to your transfers till we know a little bit more, and also consider keeping the likes of your wildcard and your bench boost till we know a little bit more. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. So if you have enjoyed the content here on FPL Today, please support the channel by hitting that like button, subscribing and hitting that notification bell for FPL, as well as checking me out on Twitter at JNO_FPL. There is where you can get involved with me on Twitter and ask your questions to be covered in the Game Week previews. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me here on this video. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.